Probably don't even recognize it.
No, I'm no longer a medium.
Oh, thank goodness. No. They filled out that place and they're doing more.
I thought you were on vacation, your voicemail's full and
But,
I figured,
yes, I
you should have called me back.
Oh, yes, I was in the golf with Eric, yeah. Special. That, just put the. Well, thank you. You just tell me here, 45 minutes.
No one to do it.
But you listen,
It's already in.
8.
I don't know, that's a legitimate question, what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, mine was, yours supposed to be double-sided, mine's not.
Right.
Yeah, you can grab those big.
8.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Is our business coming? He responded he would, but did you see him in line? I did not. There wasn't a line. Oh, there wasn't? Well, much of it.
We'll start with add. Are you ready?
I said, we can start, if he shows up, he just won't vote.
Okay, we're gonna call to order the meeting June 25th, 2024, Board of Zoning Adjustment. If this is your first time here, we usually hear two types of cases. We have appeals, and then we have requests for variances and special permits. We do the appeal first. We do have one on the agenda tonight. And we will have the code enforcement officer and the appellant come forward for that. We will then move to our variance and special permit requests. And how those are handled is we go in the order as printed on the agenda. We will call the case, the city will give us a summary of the case, and then we will turn it over to the applicant to expand, give us the details that we're missing, answer any questions that we have, and then we will ask for concerned citizens, neighbors who are here to speak about the request, for or against. They will each have 3 minutes, and we usually hear everyone. And then we will turn it back over to the applicant to close out, clear up any discrepancies, ask any more questions, and then we will take a vote. If you plan on speaking tonight, when you come up to the desk, there is a sign-in sheet. We would like you to write your name legibly. I will ask you if you have been sworn in to give truthful testimony. And so as to not have to swear everybody in individually, I would like to do that as a group. So if you are planning on speaking tonight on the record, if you would please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or promise to tell the truth, nothing but the truth? Please state I do. Thank you. Do we have any preliminary matters before we get into the agenda?
Madam Chair, no, there are no preliminary matters. Go right into the appeal.
Okay. So the first thing on the agenda is appeal for 5472 Eagle Crest Drive, case number BZA 24-056.
We have Richard.
We have a seat.
Let's take it. Doesn't matter where.
The medal.
Thank you. So long.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
It doesn't happen every day.
Yeah. Done. That's fine.
Did you hand one to the property owner?
I gave Bobby here one so that he can have them here.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Okay, we will have the code enforcement present their version of the facts first. You can state your name and whether you were sworn in.
Hi, members. My name is Robert Smith, ROBERT, I'm Code Enforcement Officer, been with the city about 12 years.
1 second. Tony, can you hear?
I can't, I mean, I knew what he was saying there, so maybe not pull it up.
Is that a little bit better, Tony?
Yes, that's right.
Gotcha. My name is Robert Smith, Code Officer with the city of Columbus for about 12 years. The name is spelled ROBERTSMITH, and today we're here to discuss 5472 Crest Drive. I was called out for a 311 complaint to the property. The main complaint at first was having to do with a semi that was parked in the driveway. When we went out to do an inspection, that semi was no longer there. But we did notice that there was a fence that was basically erected, which goes by Exhibit B. If you were to look at Exhibit B, it basically shows that there is a fence that has been erected. This was done probably in the year 2023, I believe. That's correct.
That's correct, yeah.
Was erected in 2023. Upon coming upon this, we did notice that it is in violation of code 3321.05. The fence is exceeding 2.5 feet, exceeding 25% opacity while abutting a property which contains vehicle access. These pictures basically starting off Exhibit B, the one on the left shows the front of the property, which is 5472 Crest. The next picture to the right shows the side of the house. If you go to the next exhibit, which is Exhibit C, shows a broader angle going down the street, showing that, and it also shows the very last picture on the far right shows a angle coming from the neighbor's driveway. So you can see that the fence is above or beyond the setback of the neighbor's property and also of his own property, extending out close to the sidewalk, probably would say within 6 feet of the sidewalk. Again, this property was written up by myself with Exhibit A for a zoning code violation for 3321.05 vision clearance. I did note in this notice that a wooden fence has been constructed and is a vision clearance for residential for having access to a street, a residential lot having access to a street. I also put that no opaque is allowed between the setback and right-of-way lines. I made a note that this privacy fence that is between the setback and right-of-way line is more than 75% opaque and is a violation of the vision clearance code. Basically, I also have an Exhibit D, shows an aerial photo of the property that I got from the Franklin County Auditor website, showing the location of the fence that has been erected, again, I think in the year 2023. I do have also under Exhibit E, I do have the definition of the vision clearance code. I did highlight, there was a part where I made it bold, stating out basically what the violation is for this property. The end of the fence. Exhibit F, G, and H, Exhibit F, excuse me, and G basically show examples of vision clearance issues. Exhibit H, Exhibit H and I, it's basically a canal crossing plat that we did get. So I do have a better and clearer picture if you need to see one that we have here in 11:17 form, if you guys need to see that. Basically showing the layout of the neighborhood and of the plat of the canal crossing section. I'm not sure if there's any other information that you need from me, but that is where we're at today. And the owner is here sitting next to me.
So your position is that it's not really blocking vision triangle, but that it's
It's based,
in the yard.
and it's in
That
front of
where
the setback.
access is. Okay,
Correct.
okay. Okay. Okay, can you state your name for the record and from you been sworn in?
Yes, so my name is Dalibor Milanovic.
You've been sworn in?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm sorry, could you state your name?
Dalibor Milanovic.
Spell your last
D,
name.
Dalibor, it's the first name and the last name, it's Milanovic, Milanovic.
Thank you.
So, go ahead with your version of the facts.
So I moved in this property in 2019 and the fences already was over there and set back, like, I can show you the pictures. What I already did, like with this fence, I extended, like, to have a privacy because I have a window on the side. And I extended to the limits where it's like, side back is like, more than 20 feet, like, from the line.
So tell us where the fence was in the beginning and.
I can show you, I can have you the picture, if you want me to pass it.
There's the city running that for us.
And also I have pictures of the whole, neighborhood, where it's like, it's not only my case that I have this fence like this. I have like, maybe 40 pictures that show like, everybody's building the fence like this in my neighborhood. And I contact the HOA, they say like, you can build the fence. You can build a fence, if it's vinyl, 6 feet, white. And if it's just like, the regular fence, you can do like, just a regular color. That you cannot paint it different colors, it has to be natural color. Nobody say anything about side backs or setbacks or anything like that. And also I have like, 40 pictures, which everybody does that. So I'm not only the case that, the only thing is like, from front of the street, where it's like corner, it's more than 30 feet, so I'm not violating like, the kind of like corner that you cannot see anything on that. Also from my neighbor behind me, it's more than 30 feet as from his yard. And also, if you can see the pictures, like, if you take a correct picture, or if you're driving on the road, you can see like, he can clearly see there is any problems, that he cannot back up or anything like that. The points of the pictures, how you're taking the pictures, like, now this exhibit C, you can see like, you don't see his full driveway. And, that's making like, that it's kind of like smaller than it is, but definitely like from his driveway to my fence, it's 30 feet, so it doesn't block his driveway at all.
So you are here to make the case that this should be allowed,
Yes,
not that you disagree that it exists.
that's correct.
Okay, so the proper process for that would be a variance request,
Okay,
not an appeal. So the distinction is, so you're appealing the code enforcement, your position is that you're not doing what the city is saying you're doing.
technically, it's a boat.
But you are doing what the city is saying you're doing. You do have the fence in the wrong place. What the reasons are doesn't matter, but you do have a fence in the wrong place. You acknowledge that, but what you're saying is we should allow you an exception from the rule.
The thing is like, with the setback, the owner who has it before the house, me, he did not like, he had a fence, as I show you the picture.
Right, but
as
you
well.
added on, you've extended your fence forward
Yes,
and to the side. So you can't really rely on what the previous owner had done.
okay,
Yeah. And that you're now encroaching, I mean, you're in the area where the city said you're not allowed to have a fence.
okay.
So we can rule on this case, and then you can talk to the city about how you can come and ask for a variance, which is an allowance to do what you want to do.
Okay.
And we'll hear that, and the neighbors will get notified. They'll have a chance to say whether or not they oppose it or with it, and then we can rule on it that way.
Okay,
Okay?
yeah, that's fine with me.
Now, do we have any other questions for the, city, did you want to say anything else?
No, I do not.
So, we will first have a finding of fact that as of the date of the code enforcement officer was present at 5472 Inglecrest Drive, the following conditions were present. Property was in violation of Columbus City Code Section 3321.05, which is division clearance, due to a fence exceeding 2.5 feet and height above the finished grade exceeding 25% capacity, installed in a required yard abutting a residential lot having access to a street. Do I have a motion for the finding of fact?
Make a motion for the finding of fact.
Second.
Ms. Engelhoff,
Yes.
Mr. Jones, Yes. Mr. Malaka,
Yes.
Chair Paul Bailey.
Yes. Okay, for the order, based on all the evidence presented, The board, upon motion duly made and seconded, makes the following order, incorporating the above finding of facts and concluding the law. The order of the code enforcement officer is hereby affirmed in its entirety. We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Jones? Yes. Mr. Malaka?
Yes.
Ms. Egelhoff?
Yes.
Chair Paul Bailey?
Yes. The order is affirmed. Like I said, you can speak to the city tomorrow on something and call them, and you can talk about the variance process. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our requests. The applicant for 536 Klein Street.
536 Klein Street is located on the north side of Pine Street, approximately 350 feet west of Parsons Avenue. It is some R4 residential and part of the Columbus South Side Integrated Commission. The 0.24 acre site is developed with a 3-unit residential dwelling. Surrounding uses are a mix of single and multi-unit residential dwellings. The applicant proposes to install 6 tenant parking spaces in the rear of the dwellings. Variances are being requested to reduce the parking space size from 18.9 feet to 18.67 feet, to reduce the minimum side yard requirement from 5 feet to 2 feet on the east side of the dwelling, and to reduce the maximum side yard from 10 feet to 7 feet, and to reduce the maneuvering area from 20 feet to 11 feet. Sorry. Planning supports the requested side yard and parking reductions, but has no comment on the maneuvering area. The south side area plan states that new housing conditions and garages should be compatible with adjacent nearby housing design and character, as in terms of height, width, and setback. As such, planning supports the side yard and parking reduction. However, the staff has no comment on the requested area, as neither the near south side area plan nor C2B guidelines addresses the matter. The Division of Traffic Management is not in support of the proposed plan, as the current plan shows a gravel driveway approach and gravel surface for the parking space. Additionally, there would not appear to be adequate maneuvering space for the parking spaces along the north property line. The Columbus Southside Area Plan recommends approval with a vote of 11-0. Staff can recommend approval of, as the variances to reduce the minimum and maximum side yard are to legitimize existing conditions. Further, the applicant has complied with the request from the Board of Zoning Adjustment to provide the required 6 off-street parking spaces, with which requires a reduction to the parking space width and the maneuvering area. Staff is not supportive of the maneuvering variances. Staff defers to the Division of Traffic Management in case where traffic safety is an issue. Madam Chair.
Okay, can we hear from traffic management on the issue of the maneuvering?
Sure. Yes, in regards to this application and the requested variance, the requested maneuvering variance would potentially encourage cause improvement on the properties on the north side of the alley. So there is a 5-foot reduction proposed, which would
Wait,
not
what, 1 second, can you pull that up so we can?
Yeah, that's an old site. Yeah, that's what we said, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. You had to do it, I'm not, those top.
Center back here.
Or go to a full, is it full, is it 57? I didn't know you told me. Yes. Keep going, don't mind. It's in there. I'll go. It's a shot. Yeah, no, it's good.
So you're saying that the maneuvering would approach upon what? Can you show me what you're talking about?
Sure, on the, so with the parking spaces configured as shown, for a vehicle to maneuver into those parking spaces, there's likelihood they're going to need to maneuver on the properties there to the north of the alley. So it looks like there's two parcels that are immediately to the north. So, depending on what's there, what would be there in the future, whether that cause some encroachment on that property. So since it's not really contained within the alley within subject property, we would be recommending disapproval of that variance.
Can you state your name, William Swin?
Mitchell Levine, and I've been sworn
You have anything else to talk about?
in. The only thing is the maneuverability with the width of the alley and the size of the spaces. There's still plenty of space unless you're driving a massive vehicle that we don't fit in the parking spaces anyway.
Yeah, what's the width of that alley, you know? Does anybody know?
The right of way width is approximately 15 feet, but it appears that the pavement width is probably about 11 feet, looks like.
There's nothing else, I mean, there's nothing for them to maneuver onto on the north property.
He's saying that garage area where those trash cans, where they would pull into that. But go back a couple pictures where we saw a blue pickup truck, so we can see the depth of the parking there is pretty significant. And go back one more where we see that tiny white car, where we can see that could easily fit in there in a positional passenger vehicle. So, yeah, I'm good.
I mean, this is what we recommended.
Right.
Based on our last.
We knew all of these other things going into this.
Okay. Is there anybody else here to speak about this application? Okay, seeing no, or we have ready to call the question?
I'll call the question.
Question's been called, please call the roll.
Mr. Malcolm?
Yes.
Nagelhoff?
Yes.
Mr. Jones? Yes. Chair Pompeo?
Yes. Granted. Granted, thank you. 3245 East Fifth Avenue.
East Fifth Avenue is located on the south side of East Fifth Avenue, opposite Croon Avenue. It is a part of the East Columbus Civic Association and existing zoning is Amwood Manufacturing District. The approximately 11-acre site is currently developed with an impound lot. Surrounding uses include a mix of single-unit and multi-unit dwellings to the north, rail line to the south, and industrial office park and auto repair shop to the east, and a church, and a mix of single-unit and multi-unit dwellings to the west. The applicant proposes to establish a use on site to include impounding, automobile storage, open storage of equipment and materials, and tow truck storage. The applicant is thus seeking a special permit to establish an impound lot as well as variances to reduce the residential buffer for an impound lot from 600 feet to 15 feet to allow for the operation of an impound lot in an open area enclosed by a transparent fence and without paving all driveways, access corridors, and customer and employee parking. To reduce the building setback from 25 feet to 7 feet, to reduce the residential buffer for open storage of vehicles from 100 feet to 35 feet, to reduce the residential buffer for salvage yard from 600 to 130 feet, property line setback for such use from 30 feet to 0 feet, to reduce the number of shade trees required for 30 parking spaces from 30 to 0, and to reduce the parking setback from 25 feet to 2 feet. Planning staff note limiting factors for additional landscaping along the street frontage, existing screening, and the applicant's commitment to 3 tree plantings. Therefore, planning is in full support of the proposal as it is consistent with the East Columbus neighborhood plan and design guidelines. The revised site plan resolves traffic management comments on application BCA 23-105 as regular vehicular access will be limited to the middle access point located here. East Columbus Civic Association has recommended approval of the requested variances, voting unanimously. Likewise, the city department's recommendation is that of approval. Staff can recommend approval as existing conditions and a future right-of-way dedication along East Fifth Avenue limit the amount of landscaping that can be implemented on the site frontage. The existence of landscaping and buffering along Stelter Road, the Stelter Road connector, along with elevation changes for the on-ramp are also mitigating factors, providing some screening and separation. We do recommend the following conditions be applied, however. One, that parcels shall be combined before final site compliance. And two, that the applicant shall commit to the stamp site plan, which I have here. Chair.
Can you state your name, whether you were sworn in?
Craig Moncrief, attorney, Plank Law Firm. Yes, I have been sworn in.
Okay, you want to go ahead and do your testimony?
Sure, thank you. So, the Ohio Meatpacking Company purchased this property in 1957. So it is a long history of industrial use. Most of the variances are to legitimize existing conditions or handle any sort of right-of-way dedication. Obviously, the big thing is special permit for an impound lot. But we are committing to a site plan with the idea of limiting the impounding to a specific portion of the site that makes sense. This site has certain benefits to it, namely pretty big elevation change as you head east. And then also there's a Stelzer Road connector, which kind of provides an additional buffer in addition to all that vegetation there as well. Railroad to the south as well, Stelzer Road to the east. So the idea is to kind of limit impounding to just that secluded area. So with that,
Where's the residential related to that area?
So across Fifth Avenue.
Are we legitimizing an existing condition then? Because it's an impound lot now.
Well, how long has it been an impound lot?
10 years.
Okay.
And you've had the permit?
No.
No,
Oh, okay, you were operating without a permit.
correct.
Okay.
So, yes.
And no complaints? Do you have any complaints from the residences or anybody around?
No, we talked to one of the residences. Their request was to add like a tennis style screen fencing, which we have done.
Okay.
Can you show, I mean, all I'm seeing is an aerial picture of what you have. I'm not seeing any beautiful pictures of circles with trees or any of that.
So trees will be added to Fifth Avenue. If you could go back to the,
What do you have on here?
so I can show.
You can't come up here, but, oh, that's nothing. I want to see something beautiful. Like when you guys say, this is what we're gonna do, this is why we want to do this. Where is that?
Well, I would say as far as the vegetation goes, if you go to the aerial, it's all, and it's mostly right of way over there, but you can see there's significant vegetation to the east, and that's really where the impound lot would be limited to.
So this is an aerial, not line of sight. I don't see what the people across the street see, any of that.
Well, it's really, I mean, if you want to do a free view, but there's not too much to see based on elevation changes, and there's a connector road there too.
So with what you said you were doing for them, where is that? I want to see that.
Well, as far as adding street trees, it would be, there's just a little bit of frontage on Fifth Avenue.
No, you said a fence.
You said somebody asked for something and you
Okay.
did it.
Yes, so this is, the fence is on the western side of the property,
Fence would be,
right there.
right there, which is also shown in what will be the stamp site plan. It should be, I believe, that dotted line.
Let me be crystal clear. I want to be supportive of this, but you're not giving me anything to look at to say, this is going to be great.
I mean, I can tell you it's a tennis style, that's all they asked for is a tennis style screening, basically to increase opacity.
Tennis?
You know, like, I would call it a tennis style fence where it's got the webbing to basically screen it from.
Mesh.
Yeah, mesh.
And so that goes along there. If it's not there now,
What color is it?
It is there now, it's black.
I'm saying it's not there now.
Not in that picture, but it's been added.
So the area that you're gonna limit the, I guess we're calling it storage, right? That's gonna be the impound part, is storage.
The impound lot, yes.
Open storage would be housed.
Question for staff. When we've had salvage yards before, didn't that include some kind of, I felt like something environmental, like,
It was only for like, recycling.
is that what I'm thinking about?
Yeah.
So do they have rights to collapse vehicles and all of that in the salvage yard? What are the, like,
Car crusher?
yeah.
I mean, each special permit is written independently, so the
So what
car
is this?
crusher on Allen Creek is different from
It's
this.
just a special
This
permit.
seems like just a-
that was an impound.
Yeah, this is impounding.
So it's not crushing vehicles or anything like that. It's when the city calls and says, hey, we've got a vehicle that was left on the highway. Can you come pick it up and store it?
So you're not doing anything to the vehicle, you're not fixing it, repairing it, you're just holding it there for the.
No salvage operations, nothing like
Okay.
that.
So the board order that we issue will commemorate or memorialize the thing in the heading, and it'll say right here, to grant a special permit to establish an impound lot.
What
So
is
no,
it?
they can't use,
It's under the section for junkyard or salvage, but they're asking for an impound lot.
Yeah.
So we're specific to impound activity only. not
That's
salvage.
correct.
Okay.
And so we ran into this with salvage yards in the past, moving piles, we look back into the seventies and eighties. What is the review period for this when somebody from staff?
it's yearly, they have to get a license
Annual?
every year.
Okay. Okay, that's good. And so what I'm looking at here in the foreground where that flag is, that's just parking for the people that work there or?
Correct, yeah.
So from a salvage standpoint, that's behind the trees or like, where's the salvage yard in this picture?
Yeah, exactly. It's to, yeah, it's still limited to basically the front area. There's an office building up front, an employee parking in the front. And then as you head east behind the trees there, that's where impound would be limited to.
So that mounding behind all of this is where you are?
Yeah, so behind that view.
And you're not stacking, so we don't have to worry about pile heights. Okay.
And the site plan states that that's where it's limited at.
It's the covering part. So yeah, the gray part would be where impound is limited to.
And that's the 130 feet from the residential,
Correct.
because what the shorter distance just is property line.
Exactly. You have to ask for it, but we're committing to one.
From this picture, show me where that flag is that we saw.
Yeah, so that would be right about like there. Like, yes.
So that looks significantly different than what I just looked at. Significantly. Though that looks like a legitimate parking lot. And when I look at that aerial view, that looks like scattered, random, unpaved.
The area is paved around where the entrance is, that whole area is paved.
Yeah, I don't know if we can see that.
All of this was not paved, or what is all of that? Okay, go back over this way. Right. Okay, so that looks paved, looks organized and everything. And so are we saying all the salvage is behind this fence? Is that the case? And that's where you're gonna have the green mesh, or whatever color it is?
That would be just in the western back, yeah, kind of
That side.
back there.
So you're doing that because there's no parking lot, or, I mean, why wouldn't you do that all around the salvage? If it's visible from Fifth Avenue, I didn't see salvage.
I mean, it could be done. I'd say there's employee parking, there's truck parking in front of it, so it's going to be blocked.
Well, I see that this wouldn't and why you would do that there. But on this other side, not necessarily the case. See, these vantage points look so different. So this is salvage, right?
Yeah, it's behind that, it's the shaded part.
Maybe my expectation is a little off. When I'm thinking of salvage, I'm thinking of junk.
Well, this is impound.
It's not salvage.
Tow it. When they tow your car for parking.
Not because your car's total for that.
Well, I mean, what is that distinction though?
You're not crushing vehicles.
I hear you. that activity's not taking place there. But I mean, it doesn't say that your car wasn't wrecked and they towed it here.
Well, I mean, it's all under the same heading and stuff, permit chapter, but what the specific request is, if this was a salvage yard, like the auto shredder, we would say to allow a jump and salvage yard, or even with our concrete recycling. But this is specifically an impound lot, like a tow lot.
Okay, I'm on trust y'all on this.
I mean, well, it's, yeah, how we're gonna write the board order stuff.
Okay.
Is there anybody here that wants to speak about this application? No one's moving. Do you have any other questions for the applicant?
Wait, call question.
I'm sorry.
Chair, if I could interject, there are two questions tonight. One is the list of variances and then the other is the special permits. I would just request that the board take those separately.
Okay, and you are amenable to both of those conditions, and this is the final site plan with a stamp,
Correct.
and the other one was, the parcels will be combined?
Correct.
Okay. So let's call the question on the variances first. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8 variances.
Mr. Malika, are you calling the question?
I call the question on the variance.
Yes.
Ms. Eagle?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Malika?
Yes.
Chair Pompeo?
Yes. Variances granted, now with special permit.
Call the question on the special permit.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Malika?
Yes.
Ms. Eagle?
Yes.
Chair Pompeo?
Yes. Special permit granted.
Thank
you. 1286 Cortland Avenue.
PZA 24-041, 1286 Portland Avenue. It's located on the east side of Portland Avenue, approximately 140 feet south of East 6th Avenue. It's zoned R4 residential and it's located in the University Area Commission. The 0.12 acre site is currently vacant, strong uses including mix of single and multi-unit dwellings to the north, east, and south, and institutional use to the east and commercial to the west. The applicant proposes to construct a 4-unit residential building with an attached carport and is requesting variances to reduce the number of parking spaces required from 6 spaces to 5, to increase the maximum permitted lot coverage from 25% to 38%, to increase the floor area ratio from 0.4 to 0.1, to reduce the planted area from 10% to 2%, to reduce the minimum permitted lot width from 50 feet to 40 feet, to reduce the minimum permitted lot area from 10,000 square feet to 4,920 square feet, and to reduce the required rear yard from 25% to 7.25%. Planning is supportive of the elevations as they're consistent with University District Plan design guidelines. Staff notes the addition of trees in the proposal to help mitigate the loss of yard space and therefore supportive of the rear yard variance. Staff is supportive of the parking reduction as the extent of the proposal is small and resides in a pedestrian-friendly environment. The University District Plan encourages variances that aim to preserve and enhance the walkable nature of the area. Staff notes the existing mix of 1 to 4 unit dwellings in the neighborhood, therefore is supportive of the proposal. Division of Traffic Management requested updated materials demonstrating how vehicles would maneuver in and out of the interior proposed parking spaces. After review of the requested materials, Division of Traffic Management has some additional comments. The University Area Commission recommends approval with the agreement that the applicant will work with neighbors to make the proposed roof line more like the existing homes to the best of their ability. Staff can recommend approval of requested variances because the proposal will be similar to other dwellings in the neighborhood, which include a mix of 1 to 4 unit dwellings. The walkable nature of the surrounding area and the proximity of public transit justify the parking reduction, and the inclusion of trees on the property help to lessen the loss of rear yard space. Staff is recommending the condition that the elevations be stamped to ensure consistency with University District Plan design guidelines.
Okay. Can you state your names for the record or whether or not you were sworn in?
Eli Nunes, and I was sworn
Okay.
in. Tim Bass, sworn in.
So do you have anything to add to that statement?
They mentioned everything, so.
Okay. Do you have any questions from the applicant? Are you have the city's in possession of your final elevation? This is final, you're ready for it to be stamped?
This is not finals in terms of materials, we're still designing, but as windows and, yeah, we're there.
We sealed the elevations that they have, right?
These are the elevations that are being stamped today.
I don't think you stamped them as the
No, we
architect.
didn't stamp them as architects.
No,
Well, we're committed to, that's the elevation, we're
This is-
committed to that
this is the one.
fenestration pattern and that shape of building.
Okay.
As Eli's discussing the fact that we haven't detailed every aspect of it, but that's the volumetric and the fenestrations and.
Okay. Is there anybody here that wants to speak about this application? Are we ready to call the question? Do you have any other questions?
Call the question.
Questions been called, please call the roll.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Engelhoff?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Chair Bailey?
Yes. Variance is granted.
Simple as that.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
3100 Broadmoor Avenue.
Thirty-one hundred Broadmoor Avenue is located on the north side of Broadmoor Avenue, approximately 40 feet east of Eastmore Boulevard. It's an R1 residential and part of the Eastmore Civic Association. The site is developed a single unit dwelling, surrounding uses are primarily single dwellings. The applicant proposes to raise and rebuild a detached garage. A variance is being requested to increase the height of the detached garage from 15 feet to 21 feet. But in the full support of the proposal, it is consistent with P2P2 design guidelines, Division of Traffic Management Manual comments, and the Eastmore Civic Association recommends approval of the request with a vote of 5-0. Staff typically recommends approval to increase garage height when the roof pitch of the proposed garage matches the existing dwelling and the elevations that are consistent with plan design guidelines. And we're asking for the condition that the elevation drawings will be stamped to ensure the pitch of the garage roof matches that of the existing dwelling.
Can you state your name with?
Nicholas, yes, that's fine.
Okay. And is this gonna be the same footprint of the garage where you're raising it and putting it back?
No, ma'am. So at the top left, you see in the darker shade, that's the existing garage, 20 garage. And that would be raised, replaced with grass. And then the new structure built in the rear right-hand corner of the building or of the lot, 3 feet from
Okay.
the property line.
Gotcha. Do we have anybody that wants to speak about this application here tonight? No, do we have other questions?
I'll call the question.
Questions been called, please call the roll.
Ms. Engelhoff?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Malaka?
Yes.
Chair Bailey?
Yes, variance is granted.
Thank you.
821 Sumter Street.
Eight 21 Sumter Street is located at the terminus of Sumter Street. It is part of the Westland Area Commission and existing zoning is LR2 Limited Residential District. The 0.54 acre site is currently developed with a single unit dwelling. Surrounding uses include similar single unit dwellings for the north, south, east, and west. Applicant proposes to construct a detached garage to the rear of the existing dwelling, in addition to the existing attached garage, with a driveway extending to connect to the existing driveway in the front of the property. The applicant is requesting a variance to increase the allowable area devoted to a private garage from 720 square feet to 1,100 square feet. Findings support the proposal as presented. The provided building elevations are compatible with Columbus citywide planning policy C2P2 residential design guidelines. Driveway width within the right of way will need to be limited to a maximum of 20 feet. So it says Department of Traffic Management. And the Westland Area Commission has recommended approval of the requested variance. State Department's recommendation is similarly that of approval. Staff can recommend approval as the size of the garage is mitigated by the relatively large lot size. Furthermore, the garage will be set behind a privacy fence, as you can see here, and behind the existing primary structure, reducing its visual impact from the street. We do recommend the addition of that particular condition that traffic had outlined, that the access from the apron to the driveway will be limited to a maximum width of 20 feet. Okay.
So there's gonna be no car access to this garage?
There is.
So there would be, yes. So there is going to be an extension from the driveway.
Well, you're saying that's the piece that only can be 20 feet?
Yeah, so what this distance here from the apron to the driveway, that width will be limited to 20 feet. So instead of the driveway extending like a rectangle here, we'll just have to cut a triangle there to maintain this line at 20.
What's the precedent for this? A 4-car garage detached. I get it that it's in the back behind the fence, but this just seems like a big ask.
I can let the
yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, can you say the name of the house sworn in?
Yeah, my name is Latimer Fennery, I've been sworn in. So the ask is, my dad has 2 boats. He's got a trailer, he has a couple extra cars that he's pretty much just running out of parking. He's also a carpenter that he does it in his free time, and a lot of the neighbors complain like he's working with tools, so he wanted to do it somewhere enclosed and be out of the way and not have anybody complain.
And how tall will this be?
I believe it's 21 feet.
21 feet tall?
But you didn't ask for a variance for that.
that
I'm not exactly sure. I'm here on behalf of my dad, so he kind of put all the details on me coming in.
And we do have a power of attorney on the file just for this.
21 feet sounds pretty tall to me.
That is tall.
Yeah.
I say that was not part of the original application.
I could be completely wrong. I don't.
Do we have elevations here or a drawing or?
Yeah, we have. I have all the paperwork. He left for me, so I can get all that out for you guys.
So the elevations that were provided don't include dimensions for height. They were sufficient for planning as far as getting the style of the garage.
I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, I don't see that either. I see elevation 24.3 on this drawing. Well, usually we ask for elevations for pitch and
Yeah, I have.
style, all that.
I have all that.
But we don't.
So if staff can grab that on the applicant.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's 45.
And then this as well.
So here's what we've been provided with.
That's a pole barn.
Yes.
That's the garage. Where'd you get that? I don't have that.
It's that.
This is over
That's different. This is the next one. That's the same one.
821 Sumter?
It looks the same, but it looks
So you
big.
have to pay. You have to
Yeah,
pay.
it's the same, as I said, that you asked me where I got the cut sheet. Different.
And then I got the
Oh,
current
the
pictures
one-
for.
It's the same company.
It's current
So with the
pictures.
drawing that was just provided, physically, the same as what we're seeing here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the only,
The access.
this is the only,
The pad is.
Are there dimensions
Yeah, we see
on
that.
no, and that's why,
I mean, with all he described, he needs to put in there, that's not a 2-car garage.
So wait, here's something else.
yeah, and if it is going to be over 15 feet, obviously that would require another variance.
We're letting our architect review it.
You just had.
Throw it down there and I'll look at it.
Where's this? This is just, oh, so you already have the pad,
Yeah,
but it's not at the width it's supposed to be, right? Or the back?
it is,
Do you
yeah.
already have the barn?
No. And then I have the breakdown for the building as well.
And this is,
Let's
this is
see that.
behind the
Yeah.
fence, this area right here?
Yeah, that's behind the fence, yep.
So you've already built a garage? I'll take that.
No, we haven't built a garage yet,
It's a little garage.
that's a shed it's actually on the actual blueprint already, as well as just a shed we've had there for a while.
In your yard, basically where this is gonna go.
Yeah, yeah.
Building 24 feet wide. Inside clearance is only 11 feet, but the pitch could still be taller.
Pitch is at 412. So that would be. So it's 4.
Have you gone to your HOA?
12,
I don't believe we have an HOA.
4 feet. It's gonna be 15 feet high to the peak.
Okay, so that's allowable.
Yeah.
But the overall capacity, he's talking about boats and trucks and tools.
The Westland Area Commission recommended approval.
It's,
Yeah, I'm saying the HOA like this, a neighborhood like yours. So I'm thinking they have an HOA that might say, oh, you can't do that. That's not in our purview, but that could be another set of issues for you. Sorry. So,
Yeah, I guess the city allows people to put whatever they want behind the fence.
yeah, the problem we kind of had is that, whenever we put it on the grass, the neighbors would complain, you know what I mean? So that's why we kind of try to set this up so that, nobody complains and then we're,
I completely understand your intent and the reasoning behind it. You're trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But you can't basically build a warehouse in your
Right.
backyard.
No,
And that's, with all that you said you want to put there, that's what I'm.
right, no, it might look bigger on the pictures, but it's literally, we have, like I said, we have 2 small boats, it's nothing big. And we have like probably 2 or 3 extra cars that, like I said, we're just running out of space to.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
2 or 3 extra cars and 2 boats, that's a lot.
Mhm.
And so he he could technically park in the backyard if it's a pavement.
If it's an improved surface, yes, yeah.
It's a big ask here, and you're saying 20 feet for the curb cut. And so do you even think he has enough room for a driveway to the back? Barely,
Well, he's built this already. What is that?
which is too big or too small?
It was too big according to what the city is saying.
Yes, our statement is that, we can support widening the driveway on the property, but the driveway at the right of line needs to be maintained 20 feet. So they need to flare it out, basically at the sidewalk or at the right of line.
So when do we allow this and when do we don't? 'Cause I feel like we've had other cases where a person wanted to do that and we said no.
Typically in large rural lots, when they're stored.
But this is not rural.
That's why we just answered, but when do we? That's when.
So this would not be what we've done in the past. However, you recommended approval.
Yeah.
Well, the recommendation for approval was based on the size of the lot, and it would be, while it is not rural, it is getting out towards the outskirts of the city, so West Area Commission, I believe. In fact, I believe this is right on the border with, neighboring jurisdiction.
I said it was, These two. Oh, that's spec. I don't know, I'm feeling a little unequitable. I'm sorry, a little unequitable I feel like we've not allowed this.
I know I brought it up before. and I told
One
people-
car garages, and that's a hardship for people, and we've said, no, we can't build an additional driveway onto your property. You can park, we've already said you can park in the back, but you gotta
Have to get there.
get there.
So is your concern the driveway or the piece in the back? Like the garage? Whole part? Because Dan's saying it's okay, he has to make it smaller, the driveway, but he's saying it can get there. My thing is just putting something that big on a residential lot.
I guess we would allow a shed in the back. Whatever you put back there is on you,
It's pretty much just like an enlarged shed.
right? And I
For
think
2 or 3 cars and 2
that's
boats?
the issue.
Yes.
Would be-
Yeah, I mean, it's storing, I don't know the exact square feet, but 1,100, I think it's, I don't know how many cars exactly you could fit in there, but it's not as many as it seems off the pictures.
Now, if we just talk to Eleanor's point, do we set a precedent because we have said no to people for just the same thing?
Because at some point, we're saying we're allowing private garage to be what they have existing and this other thing. So this is a little misleading that we're saying private garage from 720 square feet to 1,100 square feet.
It's in addition
It's in
to.
addition to what they already have at 720, right? So
No.
now we're looking at 1,800.
The proposal
Square feet.
is 720. So whatever
No, but I'm saying we would be allowing garage space in totality to be over 1,800 square feet.
if you said yes to this recommendation, say 1,800? The new.
1,100 plus 720.
It's like whatever they have right now is a 2-car garage.
So the total would be, 720 is a maximum allowed by code.
Right,
So they're taking their existing, which is about 400 square feet, and adding a 720 square foot garage.
Yeah, so it's a total of 11.
Yeah.
Total site would be 11.
so they have right now in the 2-car garage, they only have 400 square feet?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That's,
That's a 2-car garage?
Well, it's an attached, look at it. That's the existing garage. It's
And
like
you're-
400 square feet.
So a standard garage, 2-car garage is 400 to 500 square feet?
Yeah, 18 by 18.
Okay. And what's the square footage for the house? Because that's the other piece, you
right,
know,
You can have up to 1/3 square feet of the net living area.
what's the square footage of the house?
you may not know that.
I honestly wouldn't know off the top of my head.
I'd say it's about 1,400 or 1,500 square feet, 1,600.
Which we would be,
More than 1/3.
Well, 720 would be the max. You'd have to have like a 3,000 square foot house to get that 1/3 ratio to work out for you in this case.
did I already ask if we had somebody to ask to speak? Anybody else want to speak on this application? Okay, board members, thoughts?
I mean, personally, I think it's okay, you know, especially because the neighbors aren't here. And these are big lots. If you look at this, just this end of this cul-de-sac, the lots are really big and there's other buildings around them, not in this neighborhood, but around it that are of scale. So and I looked at one picture, it shows a lot that's just beyond, it's got 3 boats parked in its backyard, exposed.
So you know you're gonna have to shave the driveway down.
Yeah.
It's also worth mentioning that, this lot here, mentioning it did bring, that up. This lot to the rear is rural. This is a field directly behind.
That's helpful. I'm getting to grips with it because of the height. It's no more than 15 feet. And it's in the back and the neighbors aren't here because they're happy he's doing it to get it off the grass.
I think so.
in the area.
Question?
I'll call the question.
Question being called, please call the roll.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Malaka? Yes. Ms. Egelhoff?
Yes.
Chair Pompey?
Yes, variance granted.
Make sure to get him all his stuff back.
Yeah, here are his documents, and then they come by the record.
1637 Demarest Road.
Did you have a question?
No, I was gonna say thank you for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Make sure your dad, you translate all of this
Okay.
back to him so he's clear on it.
Okay, so,
You guys have any more?
No, that was it.
thank you guys.
Okay, 1637, Demarest.
Okay. 1637 Demarest Road, located at the southwest corner of Demarest Road and Donegal Court. The site is zoned SR suburban residential and is located within the Greater Hilltop Area Commission. The 0.71 acre site is developed with a 1,436 square foot single unit dwelling in a residential neighborhood. Surrounding uses are single unit residential dwellings. The applicant proposes to raise the existing garage, construct a larger detached garage, and request a variance to increase the allowable area devoted to a private garage from 720 square feet to 1,350 square feet. Also a variance to increase the maximum height of the detached garage from 15 feet to 17 feet. Plan staff states that the proposed garage is consistent with Columbus citywide planning policies. Division of Traffic Management states that right-of-way dedication of 40 feet from the center line of Demarest Road would be required for 4309.17. The Greater Hilltop Area Commission recommends approval. City staff consistently recommends disapproval of variances in residential districts that would allow an accessory building to be larger than the primary building. The applicant has decreased the area of the proposed garage to 1,350 square feet, which is now smaller than the 1,436 square feet dwelling. While 1,350 square feet is still quite large, staff has taken into consideration that the lot is nearly 3/4 of an acre, which would require extra storage space for lawn and landscaping equipment.
So you're good with it?
Yes.
Okay.
Based on that stellar summary.
How tall is the garage? Like the
17 feet.
tall, 17 feet?
Yeah.
How tall is the house? Ish.
It's a 2-story house.
1.5?
Although what side?
Yeah, 1.5. So, yeah, I'm okay with it.
Okay, can you state your name, when you were sworn, please?
Yes, ma'am. My name is William Massey. I have been sworn.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to this application?
No, ma'am.
Now, how are you proposing to get to the garage?
There will be no variance to the current driveway. It's actually that is an older site survey. The survey that I have, I don't know what happened, but actually the garage will be rotated to be within the original proposed plan request would have required a variance request because the setback was not 25 feet from the side street, which is Donegal. The new proposed site plan rotates the garage so that it would not require an additional setback request.
So this is going to be the only garage for this house?
Yes, ma'am, the current garage will be demolished.
So in this picture, that driveway that we see around that 104 will drive in back to that yellow outline.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there anybody here that wants to speak about this application? Do you have any more questions?
I'll call the question.
Questions been called, please call the roll.
Mr. Walker?
Yes.
Ms. Engelbaum?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Chair Paul Bailey?
Yes, variance granted.
Thank you all very much.
6401 Marinelli Drive. Four.
(6401) Marinelli Drive North, located on the southeast corner of Marinelli Drive and Doubleday Drive. It's zone PUD4, Planning and Development District. It's located on the far west side area commission. The 0.1 acre site is being developed with an attached single unit dwelling. Frontages are all residential with a mixture of single and multi-unit dwellings. The applicant proposes to construct an attached single unit dwelling, is requesting a variance to reduce the established building setback from 20 feet to 17.5 feet. Application Z18-058, rezone the property to PUD4 to allow development of both single and multi-unit attached and detached dwelling units.
Staff note the proposal is unchanged from previously supported zoning applications 18-058. Therefore, planning is supportive. The Division of Traffic Management has no comments. The Far West Side Area Commission recommends approval with a vote of 8 to 0 to 1. And staff can recommend approval of the request variance because the subject parcel is a corner lot with a unique shape that causes the building to protrude into the building setback. The requested variance is not anticipated to impact adjacent neighbors since the building will encroach less than 2.5 feet into the setback along Marinelli Drive West.
Okay. Can you say your name when you were sworn in?
Yes, Madam Chair, Molly Gwynn, 2 Nova Place, Suite 700, Columbus, Ohio, I was sworn.
Okay. Want to add anything to this application?
I don't believe so, Madam Chair. We appreciate the staff support and again would submit that the variance is not terribly substantial. It is necessitated by that corner lot structure as staff notes, and it's for an attached townhome product that'll be located on that lot and is again consistent with the zoning. Happy to answer any questions the board.
Does the board have any questions?
Nope.
Is there anybody here to speak about this application?
I'll call a question.
Question's been called, please call the roll.
Ms. Abraham?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Marshall?
Yes.
Chair Von Bailey?
Yes, variance is granted. Thank you. 676 Wilson Avenue.
Six seventy-six Wilson Avenue is located on the east side of Wilson Avenue, approximately 210 feet north of the street. And it is known as R3 residential, part of the East Livingston Avenue area dimension. The site is developed with a single unit dwelling, surrounding uses are usually single unit dwellings. The applicant proposes to construct a detached garage. Variances are being requested to reduce the minimum side yard and to allow the total area of the garage to exceed 720 square feet. Planning is in full support of the requested variance as it is consistent with the Columbus City planning policies. Staff refers to the Division of Historic Resource, or staff refers to the Historic Resource Commission on all other matters. The Division of Traffic Management has no comments, and the use of the avenue and the Oak Civic Association both voted to approve the request. Staff can recommend approval as the requested increase in garage square footage has been found to be compatible with present structure, and the building elevations are consistent with the design guidelines. We're asking the condition that the elevation drawing will be stamped to ensure the pitch of the garage roof matches that of the existing dwelling, and we're only asking for them to be stamped to match the pitch of the roof. All other matters will be held by the Historic Resource.
Will be held by what?
The Historic Resource Commission is going to review it before they give them plan approval.
This is on the historic registry?
Yeah.
No,
But Historic Resource.
it's in a historic district, like the Brighton Road Historic District, Old Oaks. So they have to come here for HRC approval, Historic Resources Commission, for architectural.
Can you state your names, whether you were sworn in, whoever's going to speak?
Rebecca Overbeek, I was from it.
Gordon Howe, I was sworn in.
Ronnie Morero, I was sworn in.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to add to say about this application?
No.
What's the significance of this mounting on the side?
The yard at the backyard, sorry. The backyard has a height difference of around 3 feet compared to the alley.
Okay,
Probably doesn't come down, try to stick it up.
right. Yeah, gotcha. Got it, thank you.
This is the night for garages.
Okay.
It's just a new thing. Okay, anybody here want to speak about this application? None? Do we have any other questions?
Do have one more question. On either side of the garage, how many feet are there? 1 foot on each side?
There's gonna be 1 feet on the south side and 0 feet on the north side.
So,
0 feet?
So our fence in the backyard is almost 36 feet wide, but the auditor, when they did that, showed us 31. So our backyard is technically around 36 feet in width. But obviously on the auditor's side, they show us 31 feet lot.
So why is there reference to go to 1 foot and then on the other side 0 feet? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, there's an ad that said that. The minimum side yard from 3 feet to 1 foot.
Yeah. That's right. So I have 1 foot too.
I'm sorry, Adam, what did you say?
I also have 1 foot on,
So
saying it's on 1 foot on one side, but it's 0 feet on the other side, which is significant.
that would be a setback, that would be a variance request, right?
Yeah.
We are also requesting for a setback variance on our application as well.
On the application.
Yes, there's a
Okay,
setback.
There's a 1 foot setback on that standing support, but whichever was on the 0.
I don't think we got all the variances that you needed for this project,
Nope. Check your application, let's.
because you need a variance for each side. Oh, yeah, I'm still.
I don't hear it.
Oh, here.
Yeah. That's the same.
Do some setback on the width that was to 1 foot from the property line.
But he doesn't know what to ask for. You guys would have to coach it through that, I think.
Yeah, there's another one.
Another additional sheet.
What do you think?
I think you gotta go back. I mean, I would still approve it, I just, it needs to be on the record, in my opinion. And then we asked for that famous cross-access maintenance agreement, that's why I was getting to that. Because somebody else might want to build something on that other side, and here we are already at 0.
But you're saying you have a fence. It's your fence on somebody else's property, sounds like, 3 feet into somebody else's property.
Yes, when we're at the backyard, we will be 3 feet from the fence. However, in comparison to the aerial map here, it doesn't really show that. But we will be 3 feet from that fence. It's just.
So you don't, so you're not going down, so you don't need a variance.
Absolutely, need a variance.
Yes.
Well, no,
No,
you're saying you're 3 feet?
if you're 3 feet away.
Fence, I'm not sure the fence is on the
Is the
right
fence on the property
where it should be.
The fences are, so on the south side, technically our property is a foot on the opposite side of the fence. And then on the north side, the fence is about a foot, foot and a half on the neighbor's side. So they're,
Let me just look, so you're saying the south side, the fence, between the fence and the southern property line is 1 foot?
sorry?
You're saying between the fence and the southern property line is 1 foot?
No, so our yard technically goes a foot on the opposite side of the fence, on the south side.
Guess what I said?
Yeah.
So
So
the
he's
fence is within a foot of the property.
The fence is a foot off on each side.
Well, no, only on the south side.
No, on the other side it is too.
Yeah, then on the other side, it's off on the other side as well.
And what he's saying is,
On the
it's
other
not
side.
as likely.
Right. Well, no. I think the fence tapers in, leaving 1 foot on the other side of the fence for the north and south property. That's what he just said.
No,
That's
No, it's-
what I'm
no,
hearing.
that's not what he said.
1 foot over the fence, and then the other way is the opposite.
The opposite
Like the
way.
fence was just built
On
a
their
foot.
property.
So the fence is on the neighbor's property?
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying, let's throw fences out of this, because fences aren't boundaries.
Well, no.
Yeah.
So we need to have clarity around that.
And those fences are actually owned by the other
Yes.
Understood,
Okay.
but property lines are property lines, and that's why they ask for fence surveys, so they know that fences are on the property line or where they're supposed to be. And we're all talking about these fences and your land, you're on this, you're a foot over theirs, and we can't base things on that. And that's what I think we're doing right now, because we're talking about what's 2 feet or 3 feet from a fence, but we're talking about property lines. That's how we rule on things. So have you done a survey?
We have a pin survey, and our architect has a document that we sent into zoning that kind of showed everything that we're kind of explaining now. I don't see it in these documents here at all.
That will be helpful, because if your PIN survey shows, regardless of the fence, we need to know how far you're gonna build from that property line, not the fence. The fence is an argument for another day.
Well, they could reduce their width of the garage. So
Or-
was opposed.
I mean, even if it's shifted 6 inches one way and there's, 6 inches on one side, 6 inches on the other in technicality, that would, if the property line is 31 feet wide and the garage is 30 feet and it's just shifted 6 inches in essentially, that would leave 6 inches on both sides essentially.
So the center, moving it.
Yeah, moving it to the centering essentially.
Is that in your opinion? I mean, again, I'm taking fences out of the equation.
They can do it, they just, we don't have that
Yeah,
language.
you need to notify the public of that.
So it'd be a further reduction. The public got notices saying it's down to a foot, it would now be down to 6 inches.
On either side. On either side. And then what was the other variance he asked for?
Area from 720 to 900.
No, he said he asked for another variance, I thought, the construction guy.
Well, he was thinking he was gonna get a 0 on one side and 1 foot on the other.
And I thought he said there was one more thing after that. Like a 3-foot clearance.
I think that was from the fence we were talking about.
Yeah.
Which doesn't, like you were saying, doesn't matter.
I know it doesn't help at all, but all the neighbors around there were more than okay with it, even our next door neighbors, that we technically would be at a 0 on this. They're more than happy, which I understand doesn't mean.
Yeah, and I hear you, but you're there today, somebody else is gonna be there tomorrow, and what we say applies in perpetuity for the most part. Eleanor, somebody's in the back that wanted to speak to this.
Are you guys, gonna say something on the record about that?
No.
Okay. We have somebody who wants to speak about this application. Can we give them access to the microphone? Sir, can you state your name, whether or not you're sworn in?
My name is Daniel Mobilewski, and I'm sworn in.
Okay, go ahead with your testimony.
I just wanted to say that I'm a neighbor and I fully support this. I live on 683 Linwood. That's why I came here.
Which side are you on?
I'm on, so there's an alley and I'm on the other end.
So you don't touch them at all?
No.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you sign the sign sheet?
Yeah. You don't.
So staff, what do you want us to do at this point?
Well, if it's to 0. We don't have 0 on. Yeah, we need a variance request from 3 feet to 1 foot on side X and 3 feet to 0 feet on side Y.
Or if they move it in the middle.
If they have a foot on each side, then they can swim. Then we need a variance to reduce it from 3 feet to.
Right, but I'm saying that still seems more palatable than being at 0 on 1.
Well, either way, you can't go forward tonight.
100% get that?
So the issue is that we don't have all the variants listed that we need to take a vote on. And we have to give notice to the public before we take votes. So we can't just add a variance in the moment tonight like you would need.
Understood.
So we gotta go back through the process.
We don't have a problem with it.
Sorry for the delay, but
Do it.
we don't want to cause you any problems where it wasn't official or wasn't done properly, so.
And then decide in your own minds, do you want to go in the middle and have 6 and 6 or have 2 and 0? Because if at 0, that gives me a little concern. You know what I mean? Just because what if the person next door, I like to think about everybody's rights. What if they want to build a fence at the 0 lot line? Now they can. If you're at 6 and they're at 6, well, maybe there's a balance there. So think about it and then come back.
So we will, move to
They did it.
Yeah. So it's notice of one out has to be paid.
Okay, so notices went out, we'll have to table this. And so moved,
So,
so moved.
second,
Second, please call the roll.
Mr. Jones? Yes. Mr. Malacca?
yes.
Ms. Engelhoff?
Yes.
Chair Bailey?
Yes, so we'll see you, oh, I'm sorry, did you have something to say?
Which is yours and Myron's.
Oh, no, just gotta make sure I'm listening. Okay, so we'll see you the next time when we get to the city
I think she's fine.
and meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.